Megtooth Sabers requires a lot of work on engineering, drilling, smoothing, tapping, setting, imagining, cutting, stripping, twisting, dipping, tin it, pin it, wire it, fire it, lock it, cast it, swing it, bash it. Megtooth System.
Light them if you got them. Ah, green tonight. Green is your color. Welcome, Saber fans, Star Wars fans. Good to see everybody tonight. We make it to another Monday. Somehow I lived through the week. The COVID still doesn't want to loosen its grips on me, so I hope I get through tonight's stream. We got a lot to cover. Number one, the pegboard is gone and the honeycomb wall is up. We'll show that really quick. I'm going to bring the other camera on, the cheating camera, so don't tell nobody. Don't tell them. So here is kind of an overview of the honeycomb wall pegboard. As you can see, it's a little bit more efficient in how it stores everything. And you can see my torch and everything over there. Actually, even had a wire holder peg thing that I still have to straighten out all the wires, but and then uses the old pegboard stuff there. And then I put a big towel holder and a Star Wars logo there. But basically try to minimize it down to the tools that I use. I'm looking at my backside. Try to minimize it down to the tools that I use, so it looks a lot better. So that's pretty cool. And now, so the big thing tonight is, let me get to the comments and see who's on. I know I saw, Bobby Susanbach's on, Cinzy's on, Mundo's on. That's awesome, everybody. Hey, Mundo's getting ready to be a big boom maybe at the end of the week going on in your neck of the woods. Looks like there's going to be a SpaceX launch of the Starship down there in Boca Chica, just south of you. Looks like their window starts on the 17th if they get their permit. Lincoln, yeah, a little bit better. My voice still is messed up. Great to see everybody. So tonight, we're going to be going outside because what we got to do is going to be messy. But I want y'all to know, I can't show everything that I do tonight to get we're going to get a 3D print to look like this. You can see that mirror finish on this 3D print. You know what I mean? That's not easy to achieve. And I achieved this with graphite. I linked the video that I do this with at the bottom of this video. So once this video publishes, the video that I learned all this from is in the doobly-doo down below in the expanded comments. So, we're going to show you what we do tonight. So when we have these rough 3D prints, and this is, I'll show you guys, this is a Mando, this is the right greave, the shin, if you will, for those of y'all that know Stormtrooper armor. Your calf goes down in there. And actually, this one I'm probably going to sell because it's not big enough for my calf. I got monster calves, and this thing isn't big enough for my calves. So I'm probably going to sell this. So this print's no good to me. But, normally, because this print is so tall, I have to split it on my printer. So you can see the split right there. And on this other one, I staggered the split so it's in a different place. And so the first thing you have to do is, you have to cover up those splits. You have to get rid of your print lines. And that whole process starts, with the big stuff with Bondo. So for those of you guys that did like auto body in school, Bondo is your friend. So when I have a big crack like that, where I had to split this model, definitely I start Bondo with that. And you can see the print lines really aren't that bad in this. It's actually a really high quality print. So this actually split line is actually the worst place. But at any rate, it's there's a lot of work involved. So then after you Bondo it, you're going to sand it with like 80 grit till you get it smooth, and that's the whole plastic surface. Then after you get that smooth with 80 grit, then I use this Bondo glazing. It's spot glazing putty. Now the Bondo body filler, this is like a 2-part epoxy. You have a hardener that you have to mix in with it. But this glazing and spot putty, which is also made by Bondo, goes over the 3D print. And it's a lighter coat, and it goes over the whole. Basically what I do is I put that over the whole thing. That glazing putty goes over the whole thing, and then I sand. Now when I'm sanding the glazing putty, I sand with this. Lincoln was asking about sanding last week. So this is just a normal sand block, and this is 150 grit on here. This is my first sand, and then I go to this one, which is 220 grit, and then I go 400 grit. And then I go underwater with 2000 grit. So that's just to prep the part. Once I do that, and it's nice and smooth with the 2000 grit, then I lay on the primer. And I use the Sandable Auto Primer. It's like an auto filler primer. And then you have to sand that all over again with 150, 220, 400, and 2000 until it gets smooth as silk. And then that gets you to the point where, if you'll remember, in the week before last, the condition that I initially showed you the knee in that we finished last week, it was in that condition where it had been primed, but not yet finished. Now, once I have it primed and I have the primer sanded, now in the instructions in the video that I linked, he puts on a clear coat just right over the primer, and then he graphites right on the clear coat. I'm doing a little bit different. So these are the 2 pieces that we're going to use graphite on tonight. Oh, crap. This stuff just dropped all over the floor. These are the 2 pieces we're going to use graphite on tonight. This is the right leg, and this is the left leg for the Mandalorian. And, they go on my legs just like I'm showing here. And, yes, they're silver. I did coat them with silver, and this is like a Ford aftermarket metallic silver paint that I used. And I did that because sometimes like people want to paint they paint under the graphite finish, they paint this black. Hey, easy one with a force. They paint the base coat black, and then they do the graphite over the black to get that real dark looking chrome. And that dark looking chrome got too dark. This is what the chrome looks like over silver. So, to me, this was dark enough when you did the graphite over silver. But that first layer of graphite is just part of this process. Because after you do that first layer of graphite, like we're going to do tonight, and you guys are going to see, because I'm going to bring you along with me out in the backyard, we're going to do that first layer of graphite tonight on both those pieces. And hopefully, I'm going to bring lights out there with us, so hopefully you guys can see how all that goes. And once I get the graphite on those pieces, they'll be kind of like this, but they'll be a little blotchy. It won't be quite as shiny. They'll be a little blotchy, which is fine, because what we do is then we have to bring them inside. Don't tell my wife, but what I do is I wash them off in the kitchen sink to get all the loose graphite off of them, and take a little bit of Dawn and soak my hands up, and then I scrub the pieces to get the loose graphite off of the pieces. And once the pieces are clean, then I let them dry. Once they dry, then I coat them with a 1K clear coat, which is almost like an epoxy type clear coat. It's not a 2-part epoxy clear coat, but it is an epoxy clear coat. It is more expensive than just spray paint, than rattle can paint. Then you don't want to let that second coat of clear coat set up overnight. You only want to let it set up for maybe 4 or 6 hours, so it's still soft. And when it's still soft, that's when you do graphite again. This is your second coat of graphite. And then you take that second coat of graphite and you're pushing it into that soft clear coat, but you don't want to rub the clear coat off of the graphite, but you definitely want to push the graphite into the clear coat. And then once you do that second graphite rub and then wash it off again with soap and water, like I talked about before, this is what you're left with. And it's a fingerprintless graphite finish on plastic. And I linked the tutorial that I learned from to do this down in the doobly-doo. And tonight, that's what we're going to do. But I wanted to show you guys a couple more prints before we go. I showed you the Mando leg, which I have to reprint because it wasn't big enough. This is Mando's blaster, which I told you all I printed. And mainly the reason I printed this is so I could form the holster. And this piece is actually a piece that goes into Mando's holster. Oh, here comes the COVID. This is starting to take my voice. Lord have mercy. But at any rate, we're going to get downstairs and we're going to do this graphite really quick. You know, I'm hoping we're not going to be on all night long. Let's go downstairs. We're going to go outside. So you guys are coming with me. Probably, hey, Risky, are you coming with us? Risky's probably coming with us too. He goes everywhere with us. So I got my phone so we can do the filming. I'll grab the lights and we'll grab these pieces and we'll bring you guys with us. Hey, I'm probably selling that E11 blaster up here and that leg. I'm probably going to put those on the internet. I don't know if you guys realize this, but, you know, I got to grab this light over here too. Look out, Risky. But at any rate, did I grab my phone? I think I did. I did. Pardon me, guys. I'm sorry. I'm coughing in your face there. I'm going to trip and bust my rear. Getting ready to walk by Jennaru here, and Jennaru's probably going to... There's Jennaru. Y'all aren't going to see her, but she's there. All right. Out we go. We're going out in the backyard to make a big mess. Sorry, guys. I hope my internet signal works out up here. I'm sure it will. Our internet thing's down there. I'll get to your comments here in just a second. This is crazy. This is almost like that night we did the heavy grade lightsaber blades hitting the tree, which we need to talk about that too. All right. All right, Lord have mercy. Hear our prayer. I'm going to put those two pieces down. Maybe a little bit like that. And try and get this camera. Y'all bear with me. Y'all bear with me here. Okay. So I'm going to put this camera here. And let's try to add that in. Make sure you guys got that. Okay. I don't want graphite getting on my computer here. And I want you guys to be able to see this part. Hoping you guys are going to be able to see this whole process here. Y'all just bear with me. I'm trying to get the light where it's going to help you guys see what I'm doing. Because before it was shining in our face. And I know that's going to wash it out. Let me try and turn that down. It's still washing it out, but you guys will get the gist of this. All right, so the first piece. I'm going to open our graphite, and this is simply just pure graphite powder. It's washing it out. It's just pure graphite powder. And I'm using a microfiber cloth, and I'm going down into the graphite powder, and then we're just rubbing it in. rubbing that graphite powder. And you can see it change almost immediately. You know, it starts looking metallic, which is pretty cool. I should have just done half of it, but I think the camera's going to wash it out anyway because it's dark. But, you know, this is just the first coat. The second coat is where the magic happens. And let me make sure I do the sides. Oh, I should have put gloves on for it. You know, what are you going to do? My fingers are already a mess. Get the ends. I'll try to do the other one. I'll do half of it, maybe. We'll see how that turns out. Trying to get to see y'all's comments. I was having a lot of technical difficulties when we transitioned to the backyard. I'm not on your back porch. I'm always in trouble with Jennaru. I'm way out here near the workshop. But yeah, this graphite stuff's a mess. I even put plastic bags over Jennaru's table that I'm using. Yeah, this graphite is messy stuff, y'all. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, but you know, there it's starting to look like metal. It's starting to look metallic. Once that clear coat goes on, it's even better. Okay, so there's one half. Next half of this other one. It's just simple. Just slop that graphite on there and start rubbing it in. And by the way, I painted these like 3 days ago. So this first coat of paint's, you know, hardened up pretty good. So you really have to, don't be bashful about rubbing that graphite in. You know, I'm putting quite a bit of pressure on that graphite to get it into the paint. Because what's happening is that graphite is, you know, is going into the paint. And, you know, it becomes the surface. The surface is like rubbed graphite, which is really cool. You know, that's how I got all those other pieces looking like they look. And I'm trying to just do half of this one, hoping it will come out in the light, but I think the light's going to wash it out, and you guys aren't going to be able to see it anyway. Jen's saying, good job, honey, now, but I'm going to be in trouble when I'm done with this. Because I'm using one of her tables out here. I mean, it's a work table, you know. I mean, it's not like a kitchen table or nothing like that. But this is one of her work tables. But I did cover it with a garbage bag because this stuff is messy. You know, there's nothing friendly about it. All right. I don't know if you're going to be able to see the difference because it washes out. This side's got the graphite, and this side doesn't. I think it's going to wash out. You'll be able to see it inside. But I'll go ahead and finish this up so you guys can see what that looks like, and then we'll head inside. Because this cold air out here is not doing my COVID good, you know what I mean? But after we do this first layer of graphite, you know, we'll wash these pieces off. And once they dry, then we'll clear coat them. And this gives us that shiny Mandalorian look. Now, of course, these leg pieces, if you watch the movie or the TV show, you know, these leg pieces are all messed up. And you can see my fingerprints on this thing because I haven't done the finishing touches to it yet. And that was the problem with the graphite finishes. It shows fingerprints. But once you do the clear coat over the graphite and do the graphite again and wash it, then you don't get the fingerprints. So that's why a lot of people frown on graphite, was because of the fingerprints. But if you follow it, the methods on the video that I linked, you know, and you do the 2 coats of graphite with a clear coat in between and washing, you know, washing your pieces in between, then you'll get the same exact finish. And it's pretty cool to actually have a metallic looking finish on plastic. And that looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. It does look like metal. I know my LED is kind of washing it out, but the LED light that I brought out here to try to light things up is washing things out. But it is what it is. I'm going to do another round of the graphite rub on these, just really quick to make sure I didn't miss any spots. And after you do the graphite rub and the clear coat, then of course you have to weather these. There's a lot of weathering that's going to be on both these leg pieces. Lord have mercy. I even brought gloves out here and I forgot to put the darn things on. But once we do a clear coat on this sucker and then another coat of graphite, these things are going to look fantastic. I can already tell. You guys, you heard the process for sanding these and finishing them. There's a lot of work that goes into this. When you're trying to, build a proper, especially a 501st approved, outfit, there's a lot of work that goes into it. So when you see those troopers out there, they either spend a lot of money on their mess or they put a lot of work into it. And, I don't have a lot of money, but I have a lot of skills, and I can do all this myself, and I enjoy doing this type of work because I like seeing results. And that's probably psychological for my career, because a lot of stuff in my career you don't necessarily see the results, and so it's frustrating because you do all this work and you don't get to see results. Well, in costuming, you get to see results. Oh my God, my hands are dirty. Jen's not even going to let me in the house. But yeah, I'll try to show these on camera. I don't know if it's going to come out or not. I'm not going to take these inside because it's such a mess. I'll come and get them after we finish shooting the video, but I'm trying to hope maybe it comes out on some of those angles. I know the light's just washing it out. No, Jen, I'm fine. But, I'm just trying to show these. I just don't have a good light out here at night. But they're definitely, metallic. I don't even know if this camera would be better. Not really. Not really. Well, that was the graphite process. And, I think now what we'll do is we'll go inside and I will chat with y'all a little bit, and then I'm going to go spend some time with Jenru. But let's go inside and chat with you guys a little bit. Let me take this bench cam off. And there we go with that. All right. I'll try to bring one of these pieces in. The small one. Have to beat it a little bit. That way maybe y'all can see it in the light. I don't know if Bobby Susanbach's still on, but there's my baby Bobby. This dude's cold. We're out in my backyard. All right. That's insane. And then, thank you, Jen Jen.
You're welcome.
Bobby was there. Oh man, I got graphite all over my computer. That sucks. It is what it is. You can see it looks much more metallic now. And it's still not, where it will be. But you can see, you can start to see a reflection in there. So the clear coat, will actually give it more depth. So you have that initial shine, Cindy, you're right. And the clear coat gives it more depth. And so once you have the depth of that clear coat and you do another layer of graphite, then you're in business. Then you're set. Hang on. My hands are a mess. Everything's a mess. What are you going to do? Graphite is messy. That's why we did that outside tonight. It's not a clean job. That's for sure. But the end results of that piece will look more like this. Once I'm done with the clear coat and the second layer of graphite, and I'll try to show that next week. And, that's where we're at with the Mandalorian. Kind of at a point where I've got to start building leather stuff. So I've got to build the abdominal tasset out of leather. And I have to cut a bunch of stuff out of foam. And I've got some other Shore Trooper stuff I've got to cut out with foam. So I've got to go to the craft store and get some foam and start cutting all that stuff out. And then the abdominal tasset is actually going to be leather that's glued over the foam and sewed into itself. I have leather backing. And then I have to make another part of that. And I probably got to extend my flak vest anyway to make them happy. But the bottom line is that, I got to get these leathers sewn. So I'm going to do that abdominal tasset first. And once I do the abdominal tasset, then probably after Christmas, I'll order the stuff to do the Mandalorian belt, because I'm actually going to sew the Mandalorian belt and holster myself, which that's going to be a huge challenge. But, I don't have the money to buy that stuff off the internet, so I have to make it myself. And then I end up acquiring new skills that come in handy for other stuff. It was kind of funny this week. I found something in Jen's, wish list on her Amazon wish list, and it was like this gift wrap thing. And it's like this tube that you put over the gift wrap, and it's got a razor in it, and you can cut your gift wrap with it. And I was looking at the pictures of it on Amazon. I'm like, I can make one of those. And then I did. I printed one and made it for her, and we didn't have to order it from Amazon. So, when I say we're acquiring skills, that's what I'm talking about. So, I guess I am big time taking you guys along for the Mando ride. And, the leather work is going to be interesting, but I'll try to bring y'all on for as much of the leather work as I can. What? I lost what? Oh, you talking about the thing? Yeah, Jen's right. I lost it. So I was carrying laundry upstairs tonight, to put laundry away. And I grabbed that thing because there was like a little piece of plastic on it. And I was like, damn it. I was going to trim it out. And then I lost it. Oh, I know. But look, I'm printing her another one. So there it is right now. It's printing. So I had to print another one because I lost the first one. It's somewhere here in the house. I don't know where. But that's the cool part about printing. So, I was glad to bring y'all along for the ride. I'm sorry that was kind of a poop show outside. It was a bit dark. So the funny thing I was going to propose to you guys, I want you to hear me out, because this is going to be kind of crazy. So y'all know I have those 5 NeoPixel blades for sale, and 2 of them were TriStars, and they haven't sold, which is surprising because Space Windu can't build them fast enough. The demand is so high for his, but I'm not Space Windu, and I realize these are the first TriStar blades that I've ever built, but people haven't bought them, and I'm just like, crap, because I expected all those blades to sell. All over my face. It's a shit show. But at any rate, those blades didn't sell, and I think the reason they didn't sell is just because people are buying those cheap Chinese blades. So y'all remember, a lot of y'all were around when I did the bashing one of my heavy grade blades in the tree. And I don't know if anybody remembers Shamim's old Saber Forge video where he was bashing their blades against the tree. Well, I'm thinking about buying a cheap Chinese blade and bashing it into a tree until there's nothing left of it. Like just go full on crazy on a Chinese blade, and then put one of my blades in and bash the same tree just as hard with one of my heavy grade blades, to show people that cheap Chinese blades are no good. But, I don't know if I'm going to do that or not, because that's going to cost me more money. And I was really hoping those blades would sell to help me recoup the money I invested in buying all the materials to build them, but they didn't. So, I've dropped the price on those so much now that I'm taking a loss on a couple of those blades, and I'm not going to drop the prices any more on them. But I figure I could do this video real quick, and maybe then people would understand, what a good quality blade is worth. Number one, in its brightness and evenness, and number two, in its build quality. My face is a mess. It's all a mess, y'all. But I'm pretty excited to finish this armor. I'm even more excited to get this crap off my hands. But at any rate, I'm gonna go get cleaned up, y'all. And because if I don't, my whole body's gonna be covered in graphite. This is not good. It's a messy finish process, but it does look really, really good. And it's not messy when it's done. Like after I finish the second graphite coat on the clear coat and wash it, your hands don't look like this when you're messing with the armor. The armor is totally clean. And now that armor is not going to be because I touched it. But the bottom line is this stuff has a really clean finish once you're done with it. But, thank you everybody for coming along for the ride tonight on this Night of Insanity. And let me know what you think, in the comments or the chat box about whether or not I should do the crazy man destroys lightsaber blade on tree video to compare my blades to Chinese blades. I don't know. You guys tell me what you think I should do. But, that's right, Cindy. Nerd up. Got to put that in there for the Birchie, which is be nice to people. And, everybody, it was great seeing you all. And hopefully, this has taught y'all something. Don't forget that I linked the video that I learned from in the doobly-doo. And I'm basically using the same processes, except for instead of clear coat on the first coat on the primer, I actually use a silver coat under the primer, which I think I showed you all that anyway. But that's the only difference between me and what that guy did. Other than that, I'm following his process exactly. But at any rate, I'm going to sign off and clean up and go spend some time with Jen and rest my voice because it's dying. But thank you all for tuning in as usual. And, always too, there are a master and an apprentice. Come be my apprentice. Building props. Thank you guys. We'll see you on the next week.
Thank you everybody for watching as usual. I really appreciate y'all tuning in on my channel. And as always,